ability to fire 20, 30, 40, 50, 120 shots from that weapon, whether it's a 9mm pistol or whether it's a rifle, is ridiculous. I'm continuing to push to eliminate the sale of those things.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Death by Tyranny podcast. I know it's been a couple of days. Last week was my long week to work, and it's pretty tiresome working 12-hour shifts, coming home, trying to be a good husband and raise 3 kids, not to be little monsters, and hopefully grow up to be productive members of society. I was doing some recon into other conservative social medias over the weekend that I wasn't too familiar with. I have heard of Turning Point USA. I know they have branches in some schools around the United States. They're kind of like the youthful conservative movement. But to be honest with you, in my opinion, they're not conservative at all. And I guess there is like a subculture to that group of conservatives, and they I think it's called Today is America, and I know some of the America First people went on there and were kind of trolling them about the name being pretty stupid, and to be honest, it is pretty stupid, but they have quite a few individuals that are, I'd say a couple of them are around my age, 33, probably, the millennial generation there, and then they have some of the younger people like Lance that are in these groups, and they're on there, and so people from the America First movement joined this Instagram live, and they're kind of trolling them a little bit, and Nick Fuentes, the guy who kind of runs America First, got on there, and his argument was that to be honest, we should be rooting for Canada, or not Canada. We should be rooting for China to kind of take the lead on the world stage, because the people who are in power of America right now are not only destroying this country, they're destroying it fast. And the quicker that demise comes, may be for the better. Then maybe we can start to rebuild in a better aspect, instead of trying to use this build back better with everybody, including Canada and some of these European countries and Australia. Maybe the conservatives can get together and kind of rebuild this country into what it used to be, what it could be, and move forward. And of course they attacked Nick for, oh, you're not America First, you're pro-China and all this. And to be honest, if you have that take on that conversation, then you missed the point. You missed it completely. Yeah, China has a social credit score, but so do we. And guess what? If you're white and you're Christian, your social credit score is shit. Good luck trying for your children to try to succeed in the future if they're a white Christian trying to live out a good Christian lifestyle, get married young and have children. These things aren't looked on as good things in America anymore. You almost have to be part of some type of minority culture that is, quite frankly, not influencing America for the better at all. And we've seen the slow decay of America since this has been adopted by America, since this idea has been introduced into America and slowly just destroying it from within. And I mean, all great empires are destroyed from within. That I think that's a known thing. You can't really argue any other outlook from that stance. So I got onto this Instagram live to become, kind of part of the conversation in the comments, and I got banned from Instagram. I don't know if it was like a 24-hour ban. I just checked on my desktop and I was able to get back on, but my comments went against community guidelines. And I can see where they're coming from, okay? I'm pretty sure probably going into comment sections on Instagram lives and calling women whores, it probably is looked down upon by Instagram headquarters there. But hear me out, because when I was explaining this to somebody I knew, they were like, well, aren't you supposed to be Christian? Aren't you supposed to accept everybody for who they are? Yes, but again, you're missing the point. If you are a whore, for lack of better words, right? You are having sex with multiple men, or having sex with men outside of your marriage, or whatever you're doing, and you are you're supposedly supposed to be a Christian, and you ask God for forgiveness or whatever, and then you know you're going to do it the next day. You're not trying to be a better Christian. You're not Christian in good faith. So no, I don't need to accept you for that kind of person. And in fact, it is my duty as a Christian and a person that's trying to become better to try to steer you away from that. So I'm not gonna accept you as a whore. I'm not gonna accept you as an evil, bad person, and just, oh, well, that's who you are, and that's who you're supposed to be, and we should love all God's creatures. We're not playing that game. If you're part of that conservative movement, well, that's what Turning Point's for, okay? You can go join Turning Point, but the America First movement, and to get back to traditional conservative values, and to save this country, or if we can't save this country, to rebuild it in a better image, and try to take the good things about the country and make it better. Well, we can't do that anymore, okay? And I deep down inside, I know that Christians know this. I know that there are people that go to church every Sunday that when they are talking to people and trying to have conversations with people that are maybe atheist or something like this, they keep trying to use this, we love everybody, we accept everybody, and I don't think that's getting us anywhere. The same thing with the libertarian movement, this do whatever makes you feel good. We have seen where that has led us, and it's just not a good thing. It's time for Christians to be a little bit more aggressive. It's time for conservatives to be a little bit more aggressive with our message. And we have to stop censoring ourselves so much. I mean, that when Nick comes on and he is the only one that is willing to talk about the crime wave in Chicago and in San Francisco and in New York, if you look anywhere, Turning Point, the Daily Wire, Fox News, they keep saying there is a young people crime wave in this country. Well, go to YouTube right now and look at this footage of this young people crime wave that is going on in the United States. And I want you to tell me if you notice if anything is in common with every single video, right? We'll try to stay a little bit censored here just for the sake of staying on Facebook. But what do all these young people in this crime wave have in common? I won't tell you what they have in common, but I will tell you what they don't have in common with the rest of the United States. That they aren't white young people committing this crime wave. So, and we'll leave it at that. And Fox News isn't willing to say this. The Daily Wire isn't willing to say this. But there is clearly something that connects this crime wave. And to do something about it, you would have to go into Chicago's or to places like Chicago, and you would have to arrest young people, young minority people, and that's just frowned upon in today's political, ethnical, pandering atmosphere. So what are we truly trying to do in America if we can't find the issues and start working on the issues? Instead of that, what they're doing is they're trying to say that there are underlying issues that are causing these problems, right? White systemic racism is causing minority youths to go out and cause these crimes. Well, what white influence or punishment are they receiving that are causing them to do this? If that's what your underlying cause is, then I need you to point to specific issues and problems that are causing these outcomes. Because as far as I can see, the underlying true issue here is that police officers are afraid that they are going to be publicly executed, whether it be through the media, literally, or thrown in jail for arresting these young minority youths. And then, even if they are caught, right, which they can't be chased, they have to steal, thousands of dollars of merchandise before anything is done about it. And even if that is the case, they do get caught. You have celebrities that are posting bail for them. They're becoming almost like celebrity figures in pop culture. So instead of, your Michael Jacksons and your Madonnas, now we have people like George Floyd that people look up to. That is who our youth is turning to for inspiration. And then you wonder why we have youth that run from the cops after committing thousands of dollars worth of theft, turn around and try to kill or harm police officers in some certain way, and it's just ridiculous. That's where we are in today's society, and I think for anything less than to hope for this to accelerate past the demise of America is just wishful thinking. Our best bet is to come up with a game plan for the reconstruction of America. And I believe that's what the other side is expecting, wanting, and planning for as well. I tried to make a video. My internet's been shitty for what it's worth, but I tried to make a video saying that I know exactly when the pandemic's going to end. I can't give you the time or the date, but it will end when the people that want the power, that want to influence the reconstruction of America, have been able to do so. That's when they'll let the pandemic go. That's when they will lighten up their grasp on society. Or maybe not. Maybe the plan is to forever have that stronghold on the people of the United States. And it's not going to be that hard, because people are so ignorant and willing to be led to slaughter that I don't believe that they would even resist it. And we know this. We are not even at the point where America's demise is past tense. It is still happening. It is still in progress. And we still see people that are not willing to fight against the system. They're not willing to take the mask off. And so I don't want to be lectured about, me being a better Christian and not calling these young women that are supposed to stand up for conservative values, these people that are put in influencer positions to young people, right? I have daughters. I don't want Turning Point USA or America in Today or whatever the hell their stupid name is. I don't want them to put young women that are trying to have sexual appeal on social media, trying to influence my daughters, just as wicked as the other side. Just because they have a shirt on that says, I hate communism, doesn't make them any less of whores than the other side. When they get on these Instagram lives, do you know what they talk about? Do you honestly think they're talking about things with these young people? They're bringing in these Discord live chats. Do you think they're talking about how to raise the next generation to be better conservatives, to have better outcomes when it comes to the voting booths? No, they're talking about who they have slept with. When is the last time that you slept with someone? Because if I have one more day in between my body count, then I am less of a whore than you are. And that makes me morally more just than you, because I kept my legs shut longer than you. Well, I hate to break it to you, sweetheart, you're still a fucking slut. And that's just what it is. You can say you're a conservative all you want, but it does not take the title of slut away after you say conservative. You are a conservative merchandise slut. That's what you are. So don't come on Instagram lives and try to preach to the young children that may be listening to you. Those conservatives, I'm not for censorship, but when you are targeting youth and that is your message, especially to a group of people that are censored already enough, if you are lucky enough to have a voice that isn't censored, these are not the issues that you should be talking about. And that's why you have people like the Groypers and America First that are coming on your Instagram lives and trolling the shit out of you guys because they see through this. And so, yes, when they talk about China, wanting China to surpass the United States, they do say it kind of to get a row out of these people, but there is some truth behind it, okay? And same with the Taliban conversation, right? I don't like the Taliban, but there isn't a whole lot of difference between the Taliban regime and the United States. The only difference really is the ideals. They're persecuting gays over in Afghanistan, but America is going into countries that do not wish to spread their gay message and taking over their countries and raising gay pride flags from their embassy. Well, of course they want to fight this. Of course they don't wish their youth to be exposed to this. America doesn't want their youth to be exposed to it either. That's why you see these parents become so frustrated in these board meetings talking about CRT. The only real problem with the whole conservative movement is they want to pick and choose the things that they get riled up about at the moment. We have to stand strong on all these issues. We can't say, oh, you're against CRT? Well, I'm against CRT too. Well, I'm against gay marriage. Whoa. My sister's gay, okay? So yes, I agree with you, right? Let's keep the CRT out of our schools. But my sister's gay. Well, I don't give a fuck if your sister's gay, okay? This is a conservative movement. This is a Christian nation, And if that's what you want to get back to, we can't keep sliding towards the middle. We can't keep making exceptions for your gay sister, okay? We have to stand strong in what we believe in. Our morals are our morals for a reason, and every time you give one of those morals up, you are only weakening the movement, you're only weakening yourself, and we will inevitably lose. Do you see the left? Do you see these liberals ever give up some of their morals to encompass more people? No. Do you ever see a Democrat go, well, my sister's a Trump voter, so they're okay? No, they don't do that. They stand strong. They say, hey, we hate white Christian males. We need them to be less of the population. We need to do whatever we need to do to make that happen. We need to infiltrate their schools. We need to push gender dysphoria on their children. And then we're going to put it in their Netflix original series that they're addicted to. So they believe that this is a good idea. So then when their sons come home from school and say, Mom, we talked about transgenders today, and I think I want to wear a dress, that mother's going to say, well, I just watched a show on Netflix, and that seems okay to me. And that's how you get Billy Bob, who's talking about his sister being gay. And so he just can't stand for that. We're done with that. Okay? If that is part of your conservative movement, then you are not part of the conservative movement. And quite frankly, it goes a lot deeper than that. But we'll stick to the bigger issues at hand. I guess what kind of Christian you are doesn't matter at the moment, just because we are slowly being outnumbered by people who are too weak not to be brainwashed by Netflix. So we'll leave that conversation for another day. Something else that I'm briefly going to touch on tonight is, who is this? Alec Baldwin shoots this young lady on a movie set. Now, as someone really into a community, a very strong firearm advocate, you would think this would be the story that I would most want to talk about. But quite frankly, I don't. This wouldn't have happened if these liberal retards, instead of hating guns so much, but then promoting them in their movies because they know that's what sells. They know people like guns. They know people want their guns. That's why they put them in their movies. So instead of accepting it, that's our American right, our God-given right, they decide to discard it and hate it at every turn, unless it makes them money. So they don't take the time to learn the 4 fundamental rules of gun safety. And that's why he shot that young lady. And from what I can tell and what I've looked into about this story, in Hollywood, you can't point a gun at somebody. It has to be camera magic. It has to be Hollywood magic. You're not supposed to point anything other than a prop gun at somebody directly like that, which would make sense because that's one of the fundamental 4 rules of gun safety. Don't point anything at anything you don't plan to destroy. But clearly, his dumbass didn't even bother to look into the 4 gun safety rules. Now, from what else I have read about this story, this was not the only live round to be fired on that set. That it had happened either earlier that day or prior the day before, and they had people walk off set because they did not feel safe. Well, there was your sign. And the biggest argument here is for all the news outlets and for even some gun channels, stop saying he pointed a prop gun at someone and there was a live round in it and it killed the woman. If the gun was able to shoot a live round, it was not a prop gun. It was a real gun. You stupid motherfucker. That's not how prop guns work. So this is why I don't want to talk about this story, because quite frankly, most of the people that are talking about it don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Now, why he was able to point a real gun at a real person on a movie set is beyond me. And this should be charged nothing less than at the very least accidental manslaughter, but I think it should be negligent manslaughter, because he in fact, I think you could even try to go for a murder charge here. He knew he had a real gun. He knew he pointed it at a real person. Now whether or not he knew there was a live round in there, I doubt it, but that's probably where the negligence will come into play. So, but we're done talking about that. He is a, I guess, my deepest condolences go out to the family of the young lady. I believe she had a son and a husband, but I did hear that her husband is a lawyer that worked for Hillary Clinton. So who knows? There could be some ill will or foul play in there as well. We know how the Clintons roll. But as far as Mr. Baldwin there, you deserve to rot in hell. And at the very least, you deserve to rot in a jail cell. And if any of you Hollywood, well, I can't say the F slur on here, but if any of you Hollywood F slurs come after gun rights because you guys are fucking stupid, there should be an uprising. If you want to talk about people that shouldn't be allowed to handle guns, it should be people in Hollywood, because clearly they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. But we're done. We're done with that. We're going to move on. So we talked about me briefly getting banned off of Instagram for calling a cute conservative a whore. Well, you are a whore, Morgan, so just know that. Stop trying to influence young conservative women to be like you, and you're ugly too. I know that's a low shot, but go fuck yourself. What else did I want to talk about? I know there was a couple other things. So I guess in California, you can no longer be charged with a felony for giving somebody HIV without telling without telling them that you are HIV positive. So I don't know if I worded that quite correctly, but what this means is you can know that you are HIV positive. Go get a one of your partners. I don't know, who knows, man, woman, thing, noun, whatever the fuck they are in California. You can go get one of these things drunk at a bar in California, know you have HIV, take them home and pass on your HIV, which I guess if the person is not fortunate enough to have good health insurance or not financially capable as Magic Johnson, then this could be a death wish for them. But you can give them HIV and not tell them. And so then they can go on to spread HIV. So we're worried about a pandemic. But we are getting ready to have another HIV pandemic spread because of California ignorance and lack of prosecution and care for morals and laws. But also in California, you can give that person HIV, and then if you turn around, they have now made it a law that if you misgender them or do not use the proper pronoun that they wish to be called, it can be charged as a hate crime, some kind of crime. I'm not sure if it reaches the level of a hate crime. I would imagine so. It is California. But you can be charged for using the wrong pronoun in California. This is the world that we are living in. At least in California, anyways. And these are the people that you put in power in Washington, D.C. So just know, all you people that are wishing for Joe Biden's demise so Kamala Harris can take the reins, Kamala Harris comes from California. She knows all about these evil laws. And she will prosecute you for using the wrong pronouns. So be careful what you wish for, I guess is all I'm saying there. I told you. And this is why I made the last video so trying to be uplifting. Because, truthfully honest, there's not a whole lot to be uplifted about. There are evil people in control. They're doing evil things. And well, we are literally in a battle of good and evil. It's a nice windy day in the mudroom, so I apologize for the wind if the mic's picking any of it up. I kind of got a piss, but we're going to move on, try to get through these last things because they're big ones, and I waited for a reason because I know Facebook and YouTube likes to fuck with me when I talk about COVID. But the NIH has officially come out and said that we did support and fund gain-of-function research. So just imagine how many good doctors, conservatives, and people that were trying to do the right thing to fight the pandemic that were banned, that lost their jobs, that can no longer feed their children, who had books taken off of shelves, who had shows taken off of air, because they said this from the beginning, that Fauci was funding gain-of-function research. Well, they have officially come out and said this was indeed what was happening. Now, I know at this point it's a little too late to do anything about it, but Fauci should be held accountable. He did lie under oath. A lot of us remember the back and forth between Rand Paul and Fauci, where Fauci said, you say you do not know what you are talking about. Well, he did know what he was talking about, Fauci. You're a lying, stupid son of a bitch. You helped China pretty much come up with a fucking bioweapon that has been used to destroy the American economy. And not only should you be thrown in jail for the rest of your life, but we should think of the most heinous, painful, and embarrassing and cruel execution for your dumb ass. And that's truly what I believe. And I think if there is any justice in this world, that will be your demise. Hopefully it will be broadcast on national television. And before you say, hey, that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh for somebody who comes on here and claims to try to be becoming a better Christian and want better for society. Well, there was just a video released of Fauci in the room. You can hear him talking as well as seeing him, where they left dogs out in the desert to the point of starvation, I believe is what they did, to whatever has to happen to the decay of skin that produces these flies. Well, these flies are unique in that they survive off of eating live flesh. So what Fauci did is Fauci took these dogs and put them on a table, okay? And there's videos out there of this, so feel free to look them up. I'm not going to show them. In fact, I don't even want to see them. I just heard the clips, and they're nightmaring. Sounds that you won't be able to forget. So I can only imagine the imagery that would be stuck in your head. But there are these medical tables where these dogs are on, and the legs of the dogs go into the table so they can't move. And then they take these baskets of these flies that eat human flesh, and they put them over the dogs' heads. And while this is happening, and I'll have to look back and get back with you guys about how long the process was, but long story short, Fauci's in the room watching these flesh-eating flies eat these dogs' facial features off of their skull. For what science? Why would you need to know how long? Are you waiting to see at what point a dog can have that kind of punishment done to him before the body just gives up and the brain shuts off? Not only is this the worst kind of evil, I thought this was one of America's golden rules. You don't mess with children, and you don't mess with dogs. Well, Fauci is clearly in these videos torturing dogs, trying to do some kind of research on these flesh-eating flies. And this only goes to show, do you really think he isn't the type of person that would help fund and make sure that research was being done to create a coronavirus that could spread across the United States to lower the population for some greater global scheme? You're out of your fucking mind. Fauci is evil. Anyone who promotes Fauci is evil. And quite frankly, if you are doing anything that the CDC and Fauci suggest, you should probably take a real deep, dark look inside of yourself and ask yourself, are you doing the right thing? Because I do not for a second believe that there is anything out there that Fauci is telling us to do that is for the betterment of humanity. He is a psychopath in every sense of the word. Just an evil, evil person. So, he indeed funded gain-of-function research, and now he is torturing dogs to do some type of research on only God knows what, on flying insects that eat flesh. So, don't be surprised when that's the next pandemic. Flying flesh-eating flies. That sounds terrific there, Fauci. I'm glad nobody hasn't fucking put your ass in jail yet. And then the last thing I want to touch on here, and I don't want to toot his horn because I truly, I would even go as far as to say I hate this person more than I hate Fauci, is Obama. But I will give Obama that he is very well spoken. Now, I could not find the original interview or press conference where he had said these things, but I was watching Pardon My America on YouTube, which is part of the Drinking Bros podcast network now. So I give them total credit for finding this clip of Obama. But you guys have to hear it, because he literally takes Republican words and twists them to fit the left's agenda and the left's narrative. And when he says it, he's so well spoken, it almost sounds like it makes sense. It almost sounds like, yeah, I could believe that. And this is why so many were duped by Obama and voting for Obama. It wasn't that his ideas were good. It's not that he is a good person. It's that he is literally one of the most well-spoken people on the face of the planet. And he probably has done some kind of schooling in mind manipulation, to be completely honest. But you have to hear it for yourself. And then we're going to break down the audio clip. I would pull up the visual for you guys, but like I said, I pulled it from another podcast, and I'm already using their clip. I don't want to take their content, picture for picture. But let's listen to the clip.
Republicans don't want you to vote. What is it that they're so afraid of? Yeah, I would assume, Terry, if they think they've got better ideas, why don't they
listen
just
for the yeses.
Make the case?
Make the case.
Tell us your ideas.
Yeah,
Tell us why you think they're going to be better. Tell us how it's going to help that man get a job, or help that young person go to college, or help that person get a trade.
What?
Hey, just explain it. And if you've got good ideas, people will flock to your ideas, but that's not what they try to do. Instead, you're trying to rig elections.
He doesn't believe what he's saying. What?
All right, that's enough of that. So clearly you can see what Obama's trying to point out here is if the Republicans and conservatives had good ideas, we wouldn't need to instill voter ID laws, because by doing that, that's committing voter fraud. That is what he's talking about in that clip. Well, here's the thing. We have 9 months of Obama's ideas. Now, you can say that Biden's the president, but please believe that the Joe Biden agenda is the Obama agenda. That is why, yet to this day, you have Obama coming out and doing press conferences like this. Because he knows at some point Joe Biden's not going to be there, because he's going to be dead, because he's so fucking old, that he has to continue to press the Obama mindset and ideas forward for the next person to pick up and carry this ball into the next presidency. Well, Obama, we've seen 2 terms of your ideas. And some of us might not be old enough to remember what your ideas did to this country. But let me remind you, it was some of the worst economical times we have ever had in the last 20, 30 years. Let me remind you that you steadily tell us that Republicans and conservatives are the racist and the bigots, yet you deported more people than more presidents, I think the last 3 combined. Let me also remind you that you were the first Muslim president who funded Al-Qaeda, who brought forward ISIS, and gave the Taliban an ungodly amount of money, as well as Iraq. Obama single-handedly made sure that terrorism made it to the next generations after. So yes, Obama, please tell us about how if we say our ideas, that if they were good ideas, they would work, they would win. Well, Trump's ideas did work. Trump's ideas were good ideas. They brought forth the best economy that the United States has seen in a long time. Trump's ideas brought forth more jobs for minorities than any president before him and after. He also was the only president to reside in the last, 4 or 5 presidents in a time of peace. So yes, Republicans, conservatives can run on their ideas. But when you flood our borders with millions of illegal immigrants, that's what they are. You know, you can't even say that word in some states, illegal immigrants. Well, for the countries and the states you can't say illegal immigrants, let's just say pieces of shit that don't deserve to come to America. How about that? And they most certainly do not deserve to vote in our elections, because we see the countries that they come from. We see what their mindset and what their policies and what their ideas do to countries. We do not want them here to vote in our elections, because then they put people in power like Obama and like Biden, because they know if they keep those kinds of people in power, then more and more of them can cross our borders. They don't vote for policies. They vote for an open floodgate. And now so many of them have come that there is no America left. This is why we need voter IDs. We need voter IDs to make sure that no matter how many Democrats are in power, how high up Democrats are in power, that we can make sure that people with America's best interest at heart are the ones voting in the elections. We already have enough Americans born on American soil that vote for color of skin. We already have enough Americans that vote for where they put their privates in the bedroom. That is not good policy. That is not good ideas. And quite frankly, diversity and this cultural inclusion, it's coming to a head point. All of this animosity that is building, that is because you have Democrats and the left that speak of this uniting the country. If you take a block and try to jam it in a circular hole, that is not uniting. That is trying to cram something together that does not fit. And eventually, you're going to break the circumference of that hole, or you're going to destroy the block that you're trying to shove through it. That's what they're doing, and that is what's happening. And the white European culture that built this nation is the circle, the circumference that is being destroyed so they can jam this square, multicultural fucking cube of shit ideas through the circle. I probably didn't word that the best, but you get what I'm trying to say here without being pretty censor friendly. So I think that's all I'm going to have for tonight, but if you leave here with anything else, just know we have far too many young conservative youths on the internet that are teaching our children to be just as hoary and outrageous as the left does. So be careful what your children are watching. Just because it says conservative ink on it doesn't mean they're taking away conservative values. It also means that if Fauci says it, it's a fucking lie. If you're watching a network that promotes Fauci and his ideas, they're fucking liars too. And most of all, that Obama is pushing for the person that will take Biden's seat when he is gone, and just prepare for it, because it will be another Obama presidency just like Biden's is. And you've seen, if you were too young to remember what Obama's presidency did to this country, I know you've seen what the last 9 months has looked like. So, just educate yourself, stay safe, put God first, America first. Peace, y'all.